absolutely atrocious. I've got 3 official videos by Disney to take a look at, and just generally take a look at the comments, the like to dislike ratio, and it's a disaster. I mean, if I was Bob Iger, I'd be pissing.
Rachel Zegler's time in Hollywood is coming to an end really soon, and honestly, it wasn't hard to predict it. Her new movie Y2k just premiered, and calling it a flop feels like an understatement. It debuted in 9th place, and now, barely 2 weeks later, it's skipping theaters entirely to land on streaming platforms by Christmas Eve. So now it's clear things are going really, really bad for Rachel, and what's coming next is even more horrible. Rachel herself said that before working on the movie, she thought Y2k was just about clothing, music, and a certain era of films. That's right, folks. One of the most hyped generational panic moments in history was reduced to a vibe in her mind. Listening to her talk about it, it's almost enough to make you feel bad for her, but not really. She's got this air of entitlement, even demanding to be paid for every hour her work streams online. Meanwhile, Y2k scored one of the lowest Rotten Tomato ratings in a 24 Studios history. Considering the studio's usual knack for producing critically acclaimed films, that's no small feat. This bomb has officially placed Rachel Zegler in the hot seat, and honestly, it's starting to look like Hollywood's had enough. But wait, this isn't just about Y2k. We're also diving into why Rachel's name has become synonymous with controversy. Let's rewind a bit. Rachel became Hollywood's darling after her breakout role as Maria in Steven Spielberg's West Side Story. She went from being a high school nobody to the poster child for cultural appropriation overnight. For context, she's half Polish and half Colombian, and somehow Hollywood thought that made her the perfect fit to play a Puerto Rican character. And that was just the beginning. From playing an ancient Greek goddess in Shazam Fury of the Gods, to being cast as Snow White in Disney's live-action remake of the classic German fairy tale, Rachel seemed unstoppable. Yet somehow, nobody in Hollywood ever questioned the cultural gymnastics at play here. She's even addressed this, calling herself a white Latina and claiming that's why certain roles made her uncomfortable. But rather than back out or reflect on the implications, she kept taking the gigs. Hollywood propped her up like she was some sort of reparations in a ball gown.
Huge couple of years. I must say, I loved you in West Side Story. It's love that. I'm obsessed. Oh my God.
So nice of you to say.
Yeah.
Every major outlet, from Variety to People, rallied behind her, branding her as the next big thing. Any criticism? Well, that was swiftly met with the modern equivalent of public shaming. But times have changed. After 3 box office bombs in a row, Y2k being the most recent disaster, even Hollywood's patience seems to have run out. Variety, yes, the same Variety that once championed her, recently published a piece signaling her downfall. The article, penned by Tatiana Siegel, Hollywood's unofficial hitwoman, was essentially a career obituary for Zegler. Wading into divisive issues, as Zegler has done, isn't part of Disney's new playbook, it said. In Hollywood terms, that's not just a warning, it's a death sentence signed in ink. And if you think that's dramatic, think again. This is the same writer who's known for delivering Hollywood's harshest truths in the softest tones. She's the one who defended Disney when they fired Gina Carano and tried to spin it as the studio's noble stance. If Variety is turning on Rachel Zegler, you better believe it's not just a random opinion piece. It's an echo of what the industry is already whispering. Rachel Zegler's time in Hollywood seems to be on its last legs. And if the drama around Snow White is anything to go by, the fallout isn't over yet. Disney's live-action remake of Snow White has been plagued with controversy from the start.
I mean, you know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
But now it's clear the studio is in full damage control mode. The teaser trailer racked up over 1.4 million downvotes, compared to just 100,000 upvotes, a staggering ratio that signals a major problem. Audiences aren't buying it. Disney's board members must be pulling their hair out at this point, wondering how things went so wrong. But the answer's right there: Zegler herself. She managed to turn an already challenging project into a PR nightmare. Her off-putting persona and outspoken comments have alienated fans and made it nearly impossible to generate goodwill. The sad truth is that Snow White, a character who's supposed to embody innocence and charm, feels completely miscast with Zegler in the lead. Instead of rooting for her, people are actively tuning out, or worse, hate watching, just to roast the trailers in the comment section. And let's not even get started on the expensive reshoots that have already ballooned the budget to $350 million. And it's not just Snow White that's struggling either. Zegler's other recent project, Y2k, is another colossal misfire.
Things that you could do to help the movie, and it seemed like the ship had sailed on that.
Yeah, I feel like I've been pretty earnest with you throughout the process of where we were at, and yeah, I feel like I told you it was a premiere.
Sure, the first 20 minutes offer a nostalgic trip back to the 90s, complete with AOL usernames, mixtapes, and the glorious chaos of dial-up internet. But it all goes downhill fast. What starts as a promising setup quickly devolves into a sloppy, directionless mess. The filmmakers clearly had no understanding of the actual Y2k phenomenon, which could have been comedic gold if handled properly. Instead, we got killer appliances and random chaos that felt more like an endurance test than a movie. And who thought casting Rachel Zegler as the hottest girl in high school and a genius computer nerd was a good idea? Talk about miscasting. It's almost as if A24 Studios is daring us to question their choices at this point. But the point to keep in mind is, it's not all bad. There are moments in Y2k that genuinely shine, especially in its early scenes. The humor, while inconsistent, occasionally lands, and the nostalgic callbacks will undoubtedly hit home for anyone who lived through the late 90s. Yet, those brief glimmers of potential only serve to highlight how much of a missed opportunity the film really is. It could have been a clever, heartfelt tribute to a bizarre moment in history. Instead, it's just another forgettable entry in a long line of disappointing films. At this point, Zegler's career feels like it's in free fall. With 3 consecutive box office bombs under her belt, she's become Hollywood's newest cautionary tale. In fact, the industry might need a new term for this kind of streak. If 3 wins in a row are called a hat trick, then 3 massive flops could very well be dubbed a Zegler. It's almost poetic. After all, she's the common denominator in each of these failures. Share your views in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one!